Level 93, an echo of badness. Alvinord would enlist your aid in checking on the injured Okyoi. If you are ready, there are many injured here who need aid. Should you find anyone passed out from their wounds, I ask that you alert me to them. Otherwise, I shall be tending to whomever requires the most urgent healing. We can gather here once we've seen to these people's hurts. You, the third promise's protector. Everything was bathed in bright red. A searing heat enveloped my entire body. I couldn't move. Platoon. Groan. Everything burns. The touch of cloth is agony, yet I will live. Leave me. There are others in more dire need of help. Ah, my wounds are nothing serious, but there's dryness in my throat. It's as if all the moisture has left my body. Alien. I've done all I can for now. The injured you found were awake and alert, then? That as well. We've left the injured as comfortable as we could. Many were suffering from burns to a greater or lesser degree. Did a fire sweep through the village? The details are unclear. Once I'd healed the giant attacked by that mountain bird, the group's leader, Vorpalor, I believe they called him, bade me depart. It was then that I felt an intense wave of ether and returned to find Warlord's echo in this state. I rushed over to the first giant I saw. Though delirious with pain, he repeated the same warning. Valigarmanda had broken free. Thus did I contact you with all haste. Well, we're going to need more information than that before we can deal with the situation. Yes, we should speak with the temple guard and see what's become of the Sky Ruins prison. The High Luminary grants you entry and awaits you within.
What happened?
So it's true. The ice has failed.
Surmurwar, tell them what you told me.
A short while ago, a claimant paid us a visit.
Echo.
Who enters this hallowed hall? Ah, a claimant.
Oh. And here we have the mighty Valigarmanda.
A terrifying Vitral. With every awakening, It has seared its ruinous name into the memories of a new generation.
What a good little terror. You've stayed napping right up until the day I needed you.
Explain yourself.
It is as they say. Kulul Jaja caused its magic to run rampant, trapping it in a frozen prison of its own creation. Clever. Clever. To unmake it, it would be quite tricky. 2 spells must be cast at the exact same moment. A conflagration intense enough to melt the ice, and awakening flame to rekindle the slumbering Vitral's soul. The only ones capable of such harmonious execution would be the heads of reason and resolve. And the blessed siblings, Bakul Jaja.
They woke it up.
You mustn't!
But I already have. Rise and rage, little terror. I might have overdone the fire a bit.
Utter madness. Why have you done this?
For the throne, of course.
You unleash calamity for your own gain? Have you any idea how many may die?
Wreak havoc, Valigarmanda. Live up to your legend.
A messenger to Tuli Yolol has been dispatched. The Landsguard will send a contingent, I am sure. But there is no telling when they will arrive.
Dragon Slayer.
That idiot! This monstrous act is a step too far, even for him!
So, what's the plan?
Let's kill it.
If we leave the withdrawal to others, it will be a massacre. Some might call it the wiser choice, if I don't want to fall behind the competition. But I could never live with myself. And my supporters deserve a better ruler. So that's that. I will stay and fight Valigarmanda. This is an enemy so powerful that even my father failed to slay it. Alone, I don't stand a chance. I understand you've no obligation to aid me outside the right of succession. But for the sake of Urkopacha and its people, I beg you, join me in this battle.
As if you had to ask. This is the kind of challenge I live for. What other choice do we have?
Drawn to the chaos. You're as bad as Papa. Don't worry. The Sky Ruin should prove a big enough challenge for all of us.
Far be it from us to abandon a dear comrade in her time of need.
Dear comrades now, eh? I have to say, it does have a comforting ring to it. Knowing someone has your back makes it easier to do what you have to do.
And what will we do? One committed to winning the contest above all else would race on ahead.
If you're resolved to slay Valigarmanda, we'll need to find out where the beast went.
That's what we have you for, old friend.
Inform the Bello of the danger. They may need to flee to lower ground.
So, Aaronville, any ideas on how we can track Valigarmanda? Tried and true method of comparing sightings with other signs of passage is the most reliable, but also the most time-consuming. There's a second option, not as reliable as the first, but if we're lucky, it will let us ascertain the Sky Ruin's whereabouts far more quickly. Though a Turol Vidrol of extraordinary nature, Valigarmanda is still a creature of this world. Like you and me, it is thus sustained by corporeal energy and possesses a unique ethereal balance, which means this device should come in handy. Floating hand? Now's not the time to be playing with toys. This is no toy, it's an ether seeker. As the name suggests, gleaners use it to detect the ether of living beings. You've had that in your pack this whole time? I can calibrate it to follow a specific ethereal aspect. The problem with Valigarmanda, however, is that it can shift freely between the elements of fire, ice, or lightning. Well, we know that in order to awaken Valigarmanda from its icy imprisonment, Bakul Jaja cast spells which quickened its fire aspected ether. And the residents here were uniformly afflicted by burns. Therefore, the logical conclusion is that upon breaking free, Valigarmanda unleashed a great fiery blast. Then the choice is plain, fire. The Seeker, however, is not without its faults. As we were not able to input our Corey's unique etheric signature in advance, the device will respond to any living source of the fire aspected ether. So we have the reliable yet slow method of information gathering versus the potentially swift but easily misled gleaner tool. I say why not pursue both methods at the same time? Good idea, we'll have the first to fall back on if the second fails. You travel with me then in case the Seeker leads me to some other fiery fiend. The rest of us can stay behind and talk to eyewitnesses. The more Sky Ruin sightings we can compare, the more accurate our information will be. If no one has any objections, I shall remain here in the village and tend to the Yakyoi. Very few are seriously injured, but I am wary of wounds inflicted by a creature like Valigarmanda. I should like to be close at hand should their condition suddenly worsen. Right, it sounds like we all have work to do. We should be on our way as well. Level 93, an Echo of Madness, complete. Level 93, pointing the way. Aaronville is ready to send his ether-seeking device in pursuit of Valigarmanda. We'll head to the outskirts of the village first and set the seeker to detect fire-aspected ether. Doo-doo. Right, the Seeker is ready to go. Warlord's Echo is still suffused with the Sky Ruin's residual ether, so I've excluded it from the search area to prevent it from swamping its sensors. Let's begin tracking, shall we? When you choose to depart, Aaronville will accompany you. The Ether Seeker will then begin leading you onwards. Follow the Ether Seeker to its destination without falling behind. If you leave Aaronville for any reason or lose sight of the Ether Seeker, you may try again by returning to the starting point. Follow the Ether Seeker, yes. Affirmative, tracking nearest source of fire-aspected ether. There's some fire ether right there. Source of fire aspected ether located. Tracking disengaged. Not quite the legendary creature we were after. Do you mind dealing with that fire sprite? It will continue to confuse the Seeker if we leave it be. Necessary measure, I'm afraid. Let's try this again. Affirmative, tracking nearest source of fire aspected ether. Source of fire aspected ether located. Tracking disengaged. Frightening enough, but again, not what we were looking for. You would be so kind. Sure. Thanks. I'd ask it if it gave you any trouble, but considering who I'm talking to. Seeker, resume tracking, and do try to point out something useful this time. Affirmative. Resuming tracking. Oh. Source of fire aspected ether located. Tracking disengaged. Ah, another remnant of Valigarmanda's last rampage. The crater's flames registered to the Seeker as corporeal ether. The words of a Tuliolo saga, when Valigarmanda rages out of control, its fire burns forever, its ice does not thaw, and its lightning crackles without cease. Thus was the Dawn Servant able to turn the Sky Ruin's perpetual magic against itself, trapping it within an unmelting prison of ice. This is no mundane fire, but some kind of everlasting sorcery. Once again, it is a strange feeling to see fanciful poetry proven true. Important thing is that the fire was classified as living ether. We can feed a sample into this Seeker and greatly improve its accuracy. One moment. There, now the Seeker should ignore any etheric signature but Valigarmanda's. Had I realized this was possible from the start, then you needn't have fought those creatures at all. My apologies, it seems I still have much to learn from this journey, as a gleaner and as a guide. Level 93, pointing the way. Complete. Level 93, the Sky Ruin. Erenville is ready to resume tracking of Valigarmanda. This time, the Seeker should be attracted solely to Valigarmanda's ether. Resume tracking based on the latest sample. Affirmative. Resuming tracking. Sample ethereal signature detected. Engaging accelerated pursuit mode. Do-do-do. Do-do. Location. Fiery pit. Got all kinds of fire pits. Like the New World's Bahamut. Good, the Seeker was drawn directly to the Sky Ruin's fire. Now we know we've set the correct parameters for its ethereal aspect. I'll try increasing the threshold for etheric concentration. That should direct us to the Tural Vidral itself. Recalibrating sensors, resuming tracking. Right. Get there. And follow the road, right? Doing a fake. He's still chasing after us. I think we noticed if Valigarmanda was inside this passage. Let's head through to the other side. Ortoto.
The trail ends here, it seems. Could Valigarmanda have shifted its elemental aspect? It does have 3 to choose from, after all. In any case, I'm almost certain the Vitral was headed in the direction of Warkor Lardor. We should let the others know we have a likely location.
Alphino is assisting the Yokhoi with their evacuation. He thought they could use a healing hand with the injured.
So where is Valigarmanda?
Warkor Lardor. Its stratified layers contain a wealth of crystals, said to be the source of its many-colored glow. After 80 years of imprisonment, the Vitral will be in dire need of sustenance. It would have been drawn to the mountain's energies.
So Valigarmanda seeks to replenish its ether.
Then we'd better not give it the chance.
Stop! That mountain is sacred ground. I forbid you to set foot on it.
Sorry, It is not our intention to trespass. But you must understand, that's where Valigarmanda has gone. If we don't slay it now, it will slaughter countless innocents. Just like in the old days, I beg you, permit us to enter.
Out of the question.
He's not the boss.
Your band is incapable of defeating Valigarmanda. Either you seek to defile Warkor Lardor, or you are fools.
If you doubt their chances, how would you feel were we to join them? The monument to Valigarmanda's defeat bears the names of 7 heroes. With our forces combined, we also number 7.
Counted 8, but that's me.
7 weaklings are no less doomed than 4.
Zoralcha, you've come to help as well.
Stealth.
Against my sound advice. While the rest of you were tussling with this sky ruin, we might have secured an insurmountable lead. A minor delay. It will not change the contest's outcome. I would take the measure of this Tural Vidral my father was unable to kill.
With both my brothers here, this battle is all but won.
Your celebration is premature. I never said I would let you pass.
Brother, no! We do not bear arms against our own people!
What an odd thing to say. As I recall, the inhabitants of Chir Wagur Sultan do not consider themselves members of the Tuliyolal nation. I'd hardly call them our own people.
What does that matter? Members or not, everyone in Tural is part of our dream for peace. If you would hurt them, then you'll have to go through me.
She saved me from the mountain bird. Now, then, the same eyes. Eyes of stone. Words of stone.
We are still in her debt. This is true. Consider the debt repaid. But do not misunderstand. We do not submit to Tuliolan rule.
Aye, you've made your point. We can talk more once the contest is over.
I ask your name.
Wuklamat, protector of peace, and soon-to-be Dawn servant.
Even people with wildly different ideals can find understanding through earnest discussion. I believe that, wholeheartedly.
As do I. I won't give up until we reach a compromise.
Assuming you survive, my old bones and I will be waiting here for the true heir's return.
Your thoughts have always been a mystery to me, brother. But I'm relieved to see you put aside the contest for the sake of the greater good.
Our nation is a fortress, and its people the bricks with which it is built. The more that are lost or broken, the weaker Tuliyolal becomes. Even the crudest rock has value as a stepping stone.
Come on, you two. Forget about the right of succession for now, and help me fight this overgrown snake bird. I don't care how strong the Sky Ruin may be. We're going to put this menace down for good.
Orko Lordor, now accessible. New regular duty has been added. Duty finder and duty support. Duty support. During this quest and when using the duty support system, you have the opportunity to undertake this trial with a party of NPC companions. Some of these allies' roles will differ from those you are normally able to select. Oh, so it's like the trial though, right? So they actually did a duty support for a trial besides idling? Yeah, okay. All right, well, let's read it. Level 93, Warcore Lardor. In the lands of Tiral, there is a class of beast which transcends the limits of natural order, the Tiral Vidral. The mightiest of these, the feared and fearsome Valigarmanda, caused centuries of suffering until it was at last sealed away in the mountain fastness of Urkapacha by a young Golul Jaja. 80 years later, however, a foolish claimant in the right of succession has seen fit to release Skyrune from its icy prison. If you would spare Tiral's people a new age of terror, then you must stand with Wuklamad against this flying calamity and its endless elemental fury. Yeah, let's try it with the NPCs. If not, we'll just go in for duty. We'll give it a shot. Ooh, pretty. Dr. Raw, Warcore Lardor. Raw Vidral, Valigarmanda. Seems the queue was just taking too long, so we'll try with the NPCs. If that doesn't work, then we'll play we'll re-queue for it and we'll just okay. Southeast. Generally, that means movement. Gain circles of ice. What to do for this? It's taking like a ton of damage. You're supposed to be taking that much damage away every time. Got frozen. Ooh. Got all kinds of debuffs on me. Okay, so I would have died there. It looks like we'll get through it. Yay. Surprised they did more duty support for trials. I'd like to see more of that. I was going to do it with people, but the queue was too long. Now we just need to play it a few hundred times so we know what we're doing.
We did it. We slew Valigarmanda. A feat that even the great Gulul Chacha couldn't manage. For you, Papa!
There's no denying it was an impressive achievement, but I wouldn't be so quick to claim we've outdone Father. The Vidral was weakened by decades of imprisonment. Had we faced it in its prime, we wouldn't have fared a fraction as well.
But he's being a downer.
How can you say that? 80 years couldn't have made that much of a difference. Could it? Oh, who am I kidding? Papa's still the best.
Well, though. I'm sure you'll surpass him one day. You have a ways to go.
I did, didn't I? Even if it wasn't at full strength, we defeated a living legend. I swear, I'll surpass the old man one day.
The Sky Ruin lies dead, and still, I've yet to prove myself the miracle.
Well, I suppose we should head back and join Erenville.
We did leave him with only Sarelja for company.
Your proud expressions bespeak a successful hunt. Not that I'm surprised in the least. Pearl came back earlier, but left almost immediately with Sarilja in tow. He seemed disinclined to share in any victory celebration. That's nothing unusual for Zoralja. No, it's a Bakul Jaja that concerns me. He's probably far ahead now, making the most of the mayhem he caused. Still can't believe he did something so evil just to slow us down. If we hadn't slain Valigarmanda, it wasn't only Urkapacha at risk, there would have been deaths across the entire continent. More certain than ever that Bakul Jaja cannot be allowed to rule. I have to catch him and take back my keystone. Level 93, the Sky Ruin, complete. Level 93, the Feet of Ice. Thancred would suggest sharing the news of your victory. The Yakyoi must still be anxious, wondering where and when Valigarmanda will strike next. Suggest we hurry back and allay their fears. Alpha nods as well, I should think. Yes, you're right. We shouldn't let them worry another moment. Come on. Before we do anything else, we should talk to Gerfurler. Gerfurler.
To the temple, then.
That won't be necessary, heroes of the hour. Valigarmanda is no more. Yours is a victory worthy of song.
We had plans for a second feat to be conducted here in town. But the recklessness of your fellow claimant has rendered them pointless.
A second feat?
The feat of ice. You were to fortify Valigarmanda's prison. How shall we proceed, High Luminary?
What more would we test, Zurmurwer? They have defeated the Sky Ruin and saved the gods know how many lives. If they are not worthy heirs to Kulul Jalja, then no one is. Now that our last claimant has arrived, we can proceed with the formalities. For the skill and bravery the three of you have shown, I award you each a second keystone.
That makes 5. Only 2 left to collect.
Except that one of those 5 is in Bakul Jaja's thieving hands. He will answer for that. And for losing Valigarmanda.
You have brought lasting tranquility to our home and earned the gratitude of every Yokui. May glory and prosperity continue to bless Tuliolol as we enter this new age.
Was never much of a talker, our brother. If you're up for it, you should visit the capital. I'd like everyone to get to know you and your people better.
Ha! I'll consider it. If it's one of you two who claims the throne.
Then you need only await a missive from Sunperch. I'll be sending out invitations.
Today is a day for unusual visitors.
You... Woklamat, was it not? I doubted you could slay Valigarmanda, but the quiet skies proclaim your triumph. Had the Vidral been suffered to roam free, it would have terrorized us all. Once again, we find ourselves in your debt.
You owe us nothing. We fought because we wanted to.
Yet a debt has been incurred. All the same, it will haunt me if I do not repay it.
I wouldn't even know what to ask for.
Perhaps he can tell us about the dreams of the Golden City.
Oh, good idea! That was on my list of questions I wanted to ask.
The Golden Dreams. Yes, we have records of our forebears and their visions from the time before the Shaktural expedition.
What did your forebears see?
A heavenly land, suffused with a golden glow. Its people lived as gods, never aging, never dying, free from hardship and conflict. Every building was a palace, and in their midst reigned a silent goddess, a statue so tall even my kin would need lift their gaze to behold its visage.
A statue of a goddess. That's new.
Aye, and compared to the abstract imagery we'd previously heard, this was a detailed description.
The dreamers were consumed by their visions, compelled to seek out the paradise they'd been shown. They journeyed to Shak Tural, where they died in droves.
Those who go in search of the Golden City do not return. The tales Wook Evu shared may have been rooted in historical fact.
Perhaps. Who can know the truth of it? Once our ancestors left the forest, there were no more dreams. No dreamers.
The forest? What do you mean?
From the very first, the visions were set to visit only those who worked the quarries in Yaktel. But after they were ravaged by disease and saw fewer newborns, they were forced to abandon that territory. Once our people's withdrawal to Urkopacha was complete, we never again dreamed of the Golden City.
So only Yokhui in that one specific area experienced the visions. Fascinating.
Well, we're headed to Yaktel next. Maybe we'll find out more when we get there. Thank you for sharing your stories with us.
I do not require gratitude. I merely repaid a debt.
Stubborn one.
Farewell, Wook Lamat. I do not think our paths will cross again.
I don't think Vorpalor and his brethren will have a sudden change of heart about Tuliolo. That doesn't mean they'll never change at all. Today is proof of that. Level 93, the Feet of Ice. Complete. Level 93, the Promise of Peace. Aaronville would propose a course of action. I think it's time we return to Tuliolo. After scaling Tural's tallest mountain and battling the legendary beast of the death, even dauntless heroes like you could probably use a rest. In any case, there are preparations to be made before we can visit the next destination laid out in the saga. The respite would be most welcome. I believe I hear the foreign cabins calling our names. Yeah. I'm targeting. Rest well, everyone. We can meet back here later on. I have a small errand to run in the city, so I'll leave you to recover. Will you be heading to the palace, Wuklamat? Wuklamat, did you hear me? Lost in our own little world, it seems. Well, no matter. I'll be back soon enough. An attendant is standing by to unlock your cabin. Enjoy your stay. going to the cabin. Interesting. Welcome back, Mistress Lazada. Your cabin is just as you left it, minus a light layer of dust. Like that dust.
You have a moment? There's something I wanted to talk to you about. So, it's just too stuffy in here, that's what. We should go outside. Aye, a nice walk in the fresh air, that's what we need.
Sorry to drag you away from your nice, comfortable cabin, but I could feel the walls closing in. Oh, I know. I'll take you to one of my favorite places in Tuliolol. That should help me get my thoughts in order. We'll go to Resplendent Quarter and make our way up from there. Peshua, what are you doing up and about? Is your back feeling better? Much healed now, so don't make a fuss. Besides, I can't be lounging in bed all day when you're out there fighting your hardest to win the throne. You're the claimant with the greatest love for peace. Love the nation of ours, and lending you my support is the least I can do. When I see you smile like that, how can I not be encouraged? Oh ho ho, there's plenty more who believe in your cause. I can recruit a whole battalion of smiling faces if you think it'll help. Yours alone is more than enough. Thank you, Peshawar. And thank you, Third Promise. I shall pray for your success in the contest. All those smiling faces. Ah, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Just that with the progress we've made in the contest, even these everyday encounters feel that much more special. Do you think we can take our time and maybe wander around a little first? Then we can head to that spot I was thinking of.
This is much better. I used to come here all the time when I was little. Would look out over the whole city, and whatever worries I had would seem so small. Do you remember what I said at the top of Warkor Zormor? That I would fight to preserve Papa's peaceful Tural? Well, I've been thinking a lot since then. About what peace really means. If it's just the absence of war. And it brought to mind all the best parts of our journey so far. I realized nothing gives me greater joy than the happiness of others. Life has its ups and downs, but the company of family and friends and the music of their laughter is what makes it worth living. And as silly as it might sound, I've come to believe that those smiling faces are the best measure of peace.
That's the sort of thing I would expect you to say. Wish for a world like in the Yokyoi's dream. Ideals are nice in theory.
With eternal life and no struggle or conflict, it's certainly an ideal worth striving for. Who knows if we could make such a world a reality? But renouncing war and conquest seems like a good place to start. So, this is my plan. When I become Dawn Servant, I'll build on Papa's peace. Our people will live together in happiness. It's just like Kryl said. By taking the time to hear their concerns, understand their feelings, and consider how best to serve, with each passing day, I'll be that much closer to becoming the leader I want to be. It's hard for me to say how much I've changed since the contest began. But there's one thing I can say with confidence. I wouldn't have come this far without you as allies. If it wasn't for you all listening and feeling and thinking along with me, I would have never learned so much, and in so short a time. There are 2 keystones left. After everything that's happened, and imagining what could happen, are you still willing to walk this path with me? Thank the gods for that. Well, I have nothing else to get off my chest. I need to head to the palace, but I'll see you back at the cabins.
You look to be in good spirits. I assume your leisure time was well spent. I was glad to snatch some quality sleep myself. After all, it will soon be back to the road for us. Level 93, the promise of peace, complete. Keeping unlocked, peaceful intentions.